Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, where Luke Atme is going to tell us the motive for murder. Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. I feel like that's a lie right out of the gate. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. That feels like a lie too. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. Is that true? And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask to Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. No. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Blackmail letter updated. So found in Ron Delight's room, written by Bullard. Okay. Weird. Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination. Okay. We got this. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. No. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Mistook? That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take in error. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Mask to Mask to be? Why, the answer's obvious. Ron Delight, of course. I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Press harder. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask to Mask? Don't you already know that? Zvari, take a look at this newspaper. Oh, that's the famous Tear of Eminem, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread this article in Zvari. He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask to Mask. I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's department, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. Alright, I think I've got it now. So Bullard wasn't in on it like I thought. That it was Atme having Ron steal those things. I don't know. I'm still holding out on that. But it could just be Atme working on his own. Since he is the one setting up a lot of the security actually, or he's working as security. Making sure that Ron gets through, is able to steal what he needs to and then gets his finder's fee, gives 10%, like 10%, I think it came out to be, to Ron? It's something like that. The fact there's no addressee is irrelevant. No, it really isn't. I wonder. What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? It went to Atme. Atme used it to give to blackmail Ron, or make Ron think he was being blackmailed. He shows up. And then Atme clears up his two biggest loose ends. Whoa, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? No. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zavari. Those are companies, and since I was the security team chief, I stole data from the company and sold it to Atme. Is that what happened? Kane Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief. Here's a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money? Even though he wasn't actually mask to mask. On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Do you really think that story's gonna hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Ooh. Ronnie thinks he's mask to mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Ah, well, Mr. Trite. Was he trying to act like Miss Delight just now? I thought he was actually pretty convincing. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer, I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, a result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story, and better save it for another time. Very well, another time. So-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least not in my experience. So you're going to try to connect Detective Atme to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail. It's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? Since we don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. Oh, we pressed everything though. What do we have? Sorry, so what evidence do we have? We have... This is all around the blackmail letter. I think that red diamond you received the other day. Is it? He's wearing it! Oh! Oh. Okay, so where do I present this? Yeah. The Bullard wrote this to Atme. Okay, so how do I get to a point where I can present that? Unforced trauma, newspaper clipping about the first heist guard. Gem and the Thief. Precious Gem, the Chair of Eminem. How do I get to where I just need to get to where I can present that letter. Or not the letter. What am I talking about? No, yeah, where can I present the blackmail letter? If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Oh, how did I not put that together? Oh. No points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mr. Bullard, who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. Is this where I can contradict him? I don't know. What were the other? I just want to see what the other sentences were. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Okay, nothing doing there. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he's okay. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill. Alright, that's not part doesn't matter. You're gonna try to connect to any of Mr. Bullard, right? Quite right. I have to talk about the blackmail. So I need the blackmail letter. It's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? So no. We don't have enough information. You should press him for more testimony. I don't think we need to press. I think I need to present that blackmail letter. Had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. I don't think that letter contradicts that. I feel like it's between the first statement and this one, and I'm leaning more towards this one. Just because it specifically says, and sent it to Rhonda Light. I think we can prove that it wasn't. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. What? Why don't you show us what you got there, Junior? Indeed, it's time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Wait, what? Hey? Show us the contradicting evidence in the content? What? This is not where I thought we were going to be going. So I have to present a piece of evidence. So not the letter. At first, the way it was worded, I thought it was a statement within the letter. And I'm like, the last one. Easy. Piece of cake. You don't. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Okay, so not the wallet. Is there... nope. Oh, here we go. I can't see the other hand. I don't think it matters. I don't think it's there. CO. Alright, found in Ron's wallet, so he was able to get in. Publicity photo. No. I had low hopes for that. About the first heist, garden photos, Rhonda Light. the... It's not Kane, not Kane's list. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. From the mask's second heist on, he was stealing as directed by the blackmail letters. Okay, so let's start eliminating things, I guess. Okay, I feel like I can safely eliminate the attorney's badge, but let's never rule it out. I really want it to be like the final answer to an end trial at some point. Somewhere that is actually the end of one of them. I would love it. Okay, it wouldn't be the exhibit poster. Wouldn't be that. How about Damask calling card? Okay, I don't think that's it. No. Okay, so security camera photo, I feel like is... No. You don't. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. The what's on your freaking hand. Can I just point that out? You don't want your true identity revealed to the world. Come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. I don't understand this, actually. Okay, we can rule out the wallet. We can rule out the office key. Feel like I can rule out the publicity photo. It was torn off of some clothing. I keep going back to the newspaper clipping, but I don't see... Is there more info that goes along with this? And largely just because nothing else makes sense. The only other is, alright, so here's the two things I guess I'm really between. Is Kane's list and the newspaper clipping. I hate to just guess, but I really don't know. This question seems very odd to me. Like, the contradicting thing is that he's talking about a red diamond and there's a red diamond on Atmy's hand. That's what I want to focus on. Try cancel. Nope. Ah, a little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. I think you mean 1-2 punch. Mr. Wright, try thinking things through a little more before finding faults with others. Oh. Ouch. Should have felt that punch, Your Honor. Anyway, let's try reading the blackmail letter one more time. There's got to be something off about it somewhere. Very well then, witness, you may proceed with your testimony. No, I was in the right place. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. Alright, I'm gonna try the newspaper clipping. If that's not it, I will just stare at this for the next hour. Just a few, I guess it's alright. Was addressed. I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Why don't you show us what you've got there, indeed. Show us the contradicting evidence content. This is the only other thing that makes any sense whatsoever in this context, unless I'm just missing something. Take a good look at this newspaper. Oh, okay. I still don't know why. It contains a picture of the Tear of Eminent, a stolen jewel. Right, okay, makes sense. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Oh, okay, I see what they're coming at it the other way. I was like, yeah, that jewel has nothing to do with this. Okay. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. I see, I was right. That's where they were going with it. I just... red. Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Eminent that Master Mask stole at all. Was that ever up for debate? I feel like that was never even a thing. And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you trying to say that the blackmail letter is intended for someone else? That what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That's what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Right? Well, that's what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Alright, well, that I know. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atmey. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? Never mind. You have been personally involved in every single Master Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Order the court, order I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Oh, I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you for real? Yes, I am? Nick, come on, stand up to him. Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world... yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity? Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atmey wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as... oh, blackmailer. Luke Atmey was a blackmailer. Objection! Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Rhonda Light was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. Receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Eminent heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case that would mean that Rhonda Light was actually Master Mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey. Just silence. Now I see, it's all becoming clear. But, well, what is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron Delight. In which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask to Mask. Well, yeah. Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed the first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Ron Delight was Mask to Mask? Oh, that's... The news... We're using that again? Really? Alright. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask to Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask to Mask was really Ron Delight. What the... Wasn't he supposed to be Mask to Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. Can't believe it, he was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why, how dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud detective, and also Mask to Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. Yeah, that's about right. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? How dare you? Lolly Depths, why with your big mouth of yours, I say none of you compare to my genius. You're really just... What? I'm not even gonna try. It's enough to make one laugh. I think we broke him. Judge, can we get a new witness? It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Atmey. Bailiff, please prepare yourself for Mr. Atmey. What? The hammer strikes too fast. It has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. What do you... It's true you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right, that's why I know he's the one who killed Mr. Bolt. But... there's still one thing you've yet to prove. And what is that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB's security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way. Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright. This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atmey was at Mr. Bohr's office that night. But can you really prove that? That's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atmey was at KB Security in the defense. I don't think we have it. I really don't. We don't have... we don't have anything that pins him there. The closest we have is that there were no fingerprints on the button that was pressed. But I don't have enough to go off of. Just can't prove it. I hate saying that I can't because I always feel like it's gonna end the trial. Oh, you can't prove it? Alright, that's it. Alright, your client's guilty. I feel like we need more info. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. Crap. But if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony... Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he committed the murder? I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Master Mask. No? Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I'm the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detective-ness. No, it's where he was... Hey, order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this at this rate Ron is. Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and then it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to everyone else. But he hasn't been tried for this yet. Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes, guilty as Master Mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way. The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of the crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Wait, what? What? No! Oh, well, I boo-booed. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? I object. I object. Object. Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey. Objection! I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you... Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? Oh, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice, no way. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Kurain channeling technique. I know it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. To declare that with full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but those comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witnesses made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Ah, nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, Lucat. Let's hear it. Huh. It's true the witness has made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you? Very well then, Mr. Lucat, to me, I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Alright, we'll hear the last testimony in the next episode. Oh, I really thought I had screwed up there. I'm glad we're somehow in this. I'm hoping that's what I was supposed to do. But we'll just have to see how this all plays out in the next episode. I'm now getting the sense that this is going to end today somehow. So we'll just have to see how it goes. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.